The Selfish Path to Romance. Download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com.
Paul, you're dealing with some anger issues?
Well, a little bit. Actually, it's stress with kids. I have 3 teenagers at home, 2 girls and a boy that are 17, 15, and 13.
Okay.
And I'm a little frustrated with myself because I try very hard not to just explode and yell at them, and yet sometimes stuff happens. Like an issue happened yesterday, and it turned into this big yelling, and I'm frustrated at myself because I know I don't want to do that, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get a better grip on my self-control.
Okay, and what skills do you have already?
I'm sorry, what?
What skills do you have already? Meaning it sounds like you've reflected and you said, oh, I wish I had done something differently, and then fill in the blank, that you had some skills already, 1 or 2 things that you could have said differently.
I would say one of the skills that I had and I seem to have lost is the ability to just stop for a minute.
Okay, to put yourself on pause.
Put myself on pause, exactly.
Okay.
And maybe I seem to not be managing that very well.
Okay, now what that does, putting yourself on pause, is a terrific skill, because what it does, it prevents you from exploding, from acting in the moment, and it buys you time to think about alternative ways of responding to the same situation. For example, if your kids call you a name and you say, I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap, don't you ever do that again, you're going to be punished, and blah, 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 blah. If you tend to do something like that, then you need an alternative. If you're subconscious, if you have not trained your mind that you have a few options on the menu of responding in situations like that, then when you put yourself on pause, there's no station to turn to, so to speak. I mixed metaphors there, but there's no station to turn to. And so you definitely want to give yourself alternatives, and that's what I had to do when I had 2 children, and when they reached their teenage years, I'm sure I struggled at times, as all parents do. So you've got the fundamental skill. Another skill would be, in the example I said, if a kid calls you a name, you're a jerk, Dad, or worse than that, obviously, you'd say, that's a funny thing to say. It sounds like something's bothering you. Tell me what's up, hon?
Right.
And it totally diffuses the situation. So there are skills that will help you diffuse the situation. And it's an amazing opportunity to learn those skills. That's when I learned a lot of my communication skills, when I had kids. So I am going to recommend a book. I'm going to actually recommend 2 books. One is How to Talk So Kids Will Listen, and Listen So Kids Will Talk. Very long title.
Okay.
You can also go to my website, drkenner.com, and read about it. I've got it up there under books, parenting books. And that's by Adele Faber and Elaine Maslish. Now, this book deals with little tykes. You don't have little tykes. You have teenagers. Little tykes don't deal with alcohol problems or being out too late and, breaking curfew or wanting their independence, right? I mean, I know the terrible 2s, but the terrible 2s are a tad different from the terrible 13s, 16s, and 15s, right? 17s and 15s, right? So the same authors wrote a book, How to Talk So Teens Will Listen.
Okay,
and,
very good.
And that's good. And there's also a book, an old book, but I love it, Between Parent and Teenager by Chaim Ginott, Dr. Haimginott.
Okay, and it's called Between Parent and Teenager?
Right, it's between parent and teenager. So, you can deal with anger management skills too. That's another angle to come at it. And absolutely the number one skill you already have. You just need to polish it a little, that putting yourself on pause. And there are different ways to put yourself on pause. The way not to do it is...
Hey, I got to interrupt this because we've got to pay some bills. 30 seconds, that's it. A very quick ad, and then Ellen will be back.
Romance. I wish I knew more about what girls want from a relationship. Boy, I wish I knew more about what I want. Where's that ad I saw? Here it is. The Selfish Path to Romance, a serious romance guidebook. Download Chapter 1 for free at selfishromance.com and buy it at amazon.com. The selfish path to romance. That is interesting.
There are different ways to put yourself on pause. The way not to do it is to storm out of the house saying, I'm leaving, because they don't know if you're leaving forever.
Right.
You traumatize them just by doing that with the vagueness. If you say, I'm feeling a bit hot under the collar, or I'm feeling like I might lose it again, I don't want to do it with you kids, so I'm going to just take a breather. I'm going out for a car ride or a walk for a half hour or an hour, and I'll come back and, I'll feel a little better. Maybe we can talk, maybe we can connect better. You can also prepare them in advance. I told my daughter once said to me, this is not with anger, but with guilt. She said to me, Mom, are you trying to make me feel guilty? She was a little tyke, and man, she caught me in action. And I said, yes. And I just said to her, honey, if I ever do that again, will you tell me? Will you say that again? Because I don't want to do that to you.
Right.
So there is a way, and I mean, we could go into the specifics of your case, but we can't on the short amount of time we have here. So there are ways to manage anger, and one is to look at what you say to yourself and see if it's completely accurate. Anger is your injustice detector. It's telling you that something's not fair. So a friend may not call me, and I'll say, I can't believe she ignored me. She said she would call me and she didn't call me, and I hate her and I'm never speaking with her again. Then I find out later she was in a car accident. That's why she didn't call me. I feel awful because, I didn't have my facts straight. So you can feel a strong emotion, but you need to make sure that it's grounded in fact. And many times we just lose it because that's how we lost it as a kid. It usually brings up old baggage for us. So anyway, listen, I wish you the best with that.
Thank you. I very much appreciate the lines to the books, and I will indeed look those up. Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome.
And here's a little more from Dr. Kenner.
Why is it so easy to love our families, yet so hard to like them?
Well, that is one of those questions that makes life so rich. And psychiatrists richer.
And I'm Dr. Ellen Kenner, and that's from Frasier. And isn't that true? There are many aspects about your family which you may love. I mean, some people may hate their families, and many aspects which you dislike or even hate. And so what's going on there? Well, first you're talking about families. And families involve a lot of individuals. And when I think of my family, I have 2 sisters and my dad. My mom's no longer around. And so what is it about my family that I love? And I happen to have good relations with them. So there are many things I could name. We laugh a lot. My sisters and I get along well. My father's a dear. And then I could ask myself, what is it I don't like, or what is it that's difficult about them? And I could point to things in our past, difficulties or struggles that we've had, or confusions that we had to iron out. And now that's a fairly good family. Let's take a family where it's really mixed. Maybe your father's an alcoholic, or your sister is envious of you, or you're envious of your sister. There are jealousy issues, sibling issues going on, or there are concerns, there are health issues that you're really worried about things and you don't like the way a sibling's handling it, or a parent is handling it, or you don't like the way they're bringing up their kids. It really, an evaluation of liking or loving or disliking or hating really involves your focusing in on specific characteristics you've observed, or specific behaviors, and judging your family. So all of us have mixed contexts about when we think of our family, the good and the bad. So it's good to break it up into individuals. What do I like about my sister, my brother, my mother, my father, my niece, and what don't I like? What's hard? Why is it hard to like them? And that's the work of thinking. That's the work of understanding yourself, of introspection.
For more Dr. Kenner podcast, go to drkenner.com and please listen to this ad.
Here's an excerpt from The Selfish Path to Romance, the Serious Romance Guidebook by clinical psychologist Dr. Ellen Kenner and co-author Dr. Edwin Locke.
Learning how to value yourself is no easy task. It is proper to design your own life. Start by naming what matters most to you. For example, choosing and pursuing your own values, thinking for yourself, speaking up for yourself tactfully, being honest with yourself and with others, setting proper boundaries with family, friends, and associates, going to school to become more qualified to pursue your chosen career, giving your children a good education and moral guidance, yet encouraging them not to obey blindly, but to think for themselves, and learning how to communicate well with your partner in order to grow closer emotionally.
You can download Chapter 1 for free by going to drkenner.com, and you can buy The Selfish Path to Romance at amazon.com.